everybody. Whew. It's good to see you on this bright full moon energy time, Aries, solar, Libra, full moon. As you are feeling, which is about right relationship, right? So, welcome. There are people from Las Vegas here, Osaka, London. I just love it when we have these great big world groups, you know, where there's people all over the country, the world, the city, of course, in LA. So many people locally here too, of course, mostly. But there's all kinds of energies joining in Melbourne, Australia, you know. Think about it. We're making a matrix, right? And it's a matrix of light. So we heart to heart connect into wherever you are in San Francisco. Somebody's at Venice Beach right now visiting. You know, there's different things happening, and some people are in their cars, you know, watching it pulled over on the side of the road. I get little texts that say, I can't be there, but I'm driving and I'm coming. So there's all of this wonderful coming together energy, and even though you might not all know each other, you do. Because we're one and we are connected and actually know each other more than you might think. And you'd sort of recognize each other, you know, from Ventura, right? All in Hawaii, all places, all places. And it doesn't matter time and space, because that's what we're always doing, is coming into this time and space, right? Together as a group, we join together. And so welcome to this heart-centered group, which is sort of where I teach from, you know, heart center, head center, but heart center primarily, I would say. And working with these energies of these times of, you know, why I even do these, right, is because we want to work with the pulses. And pulses are day to night. They could be even minute to minute. They could even be breath to breath. But then there's these greater pulses like Monday to Monday, or Monday to Sunday, or new moon to full moon, right? Or solstice to solstice, birthday to birthday. Birthdays are a really good example, right, of a pulse, a personal pulse. If it's your birthday right now, right? It's a pulse for you. That's your new year. So you get to work with that energy, and in a way, every time we sit to meditate like this and we practice together and I give you things to think about and work on during the month, these become techniques that you can use for the rest of your life. It's not just about right now, it's about all the time. How do you use these energies all the time? And isn't that the point? Anyway, really, is how do you use these spiritual principles in real life, right? The practical application of spiritual principle. That's what I teach about. Like, how do you use the tools, the hammer and the nail, the screwdriver and the pliers, you know, inappropriately at the right time, and to get to even know, oh, I need this tool for that. And the main tool, of course, always is love, right? It's love that we're using primarily as our universal tool, because that's connecting to universal energy. So every time we meet, we're working on something, right? We're talking about a concept, we're talking about an idea and an ideal. And we're using the moons because we can, you know. There's so many reasons why we use the moons, the new moon, which is so powerful, maybe more powerful even, right, than the full, in a different kind of backstage sort of way. But I like it because it's visible. You can see it in the sky. It's a clock. But we could use anything. We could use Tuesdays at 4, you know, and that could be our pulse. But of course, there's energetic energies between the earth, the moon, and the sun, right, that are creating pathways, in a sense, of opening up energies so that we can have more access, right, to the big incoming energies that are coming in. And so we use astrology, the constellations, right, to use these constellations like archetypes archetypes to work with. So the energy, just like if you're in Aries, and a lot of you are Aries, right? So if you're in Aries, this is your month, right? We're talking about Aries. The sun sign is in Aries. People that are born right now are Aries. It's also the equinox sign. 0 degrees Aries is the equinox. When it's 0 degrees 0, that's the equinox, the vernal equinox in the northern hemisphere, right? And so you start to work with these energies. Well, Aries has a very different vibration than Pisces, for instance, right? Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, and they have very extremely radically different energies about them, and we could use any sign. So Cancer and Scorpio, Aquarius, any sign we're working with, it has a vibration that we get to work with for the month. And we could use instead the color blue. We could use anything as the focalizer, right? The focalizer. I pulled an oracle card for us tonight, and it's perfect, right? Beliefs and expectations. I thought that was neat and a good one. Beliefs and expectations. So we could do the whole thing based on this. We could say, let's use this pulse of this energy to talk about beliefs and expectations, right? And the other card I pulled was, this is from Tasha Silver's deck. Being enough. So I lay these down as colors, like watercolors, right? You lay down a wash that you're going to lay something else over and over and over that, and then over that, and then over that, until you have this vibrant image that the meditation becomes, right? So this one says, being enough. The innermost heart says, you are enough. And I love this. This is from my Tai Chi practice. Our teacher used to say that, does say this all the time. You are enough. Nowhere to go, nothing to get, nothing to change, no need to grow more deserving, no need to grow more deserving. You are love. Being enough. The cool image on the front. And while I'm showing cool images, I want to show you what Hank makes, these beautiful wishing plaques. They're just gorgeous. There are these wooden, stamped and painted. This is the year of the rabbit, right? I like the back as much as I like the front. And I could use this as our focal point, right? We could use anything, but we're using the moon pulses because it's the clock. So we're using it together, and more than that, more than it's just the clock. It is an energy tuning device. So we tune our station into Libra full moon, Aries sun. That's where we're standing. So on that note, I'm going to show the chart, because just for some of you that know a little bit about it, and I'm going to use it as a little bit of a point of focus, because there's a lot going on in it, as there always is. So there's the sun, 16 Aries. Where's your 16 Aries point in your chart? That's always interesting. In this chart for Los Angeles, which was the moon was full yesterday at 9:35 p.m. in the night. I was up at Meditation Mount giving the meditation there live. It's at 16 degrees Aries, 17. This is the Sabian symbol for it. Moon's in Libra, falls in the fifth house in the LA chart, but in your chart it's not going to fall there at all. It's conjunct Jupiter, it's conjunct Chiron. Venus and Uranus are conjunct. There's a mini trine, Saturn, Mars with Mercury, and this big opposition that always is there whenever we have the full moon. So the thing I wanted to talk about is how to use these energies right now with this full moon, Libra Aries, which is about the self and the other, yourself and your partner, yourself and the other, So these are very opposite energies. Aries is about itself. It is it is rules the head, right? Libra is about balance and partnering of the two. And I also want to talk about Pluto. And some of you actually wrote me and wanted to talk about what happens when Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius, which it just moved in, I think it was March 23rd. It actually moved into Aquarius. So that's a big, big deal because it is it's going to be a 20-year cycle. It's interesting with Pluto, and I think that's where I'm going to start. With Pluto, it's such a long cycle. And this one will be 20 years with Pluto in Aquarius. The last one was from 2008 to 2023 in Capricorn. 2008 started off with a bang, with the financial systems really getting hit hard. That's a very Capricornian subject, banking. Now it's in Aquarius. It's a whole new ball game. This cycle is going to be over in 2044. So we got this long thing. America is going through its Pluto return right now. What is happening for Pluto, wherever Pluto is where power is and where kind of destruction is. It's like construction, reconstruction, right? And tearing down. What's not strong must fall apart. So here it is moving from that Capricorn energy of the systems, banks, churches, governments, right? Moving into Aquarius, electricity, energy, humanity, power to the people, right? How do we all get along in this too many peopled world? We have too many people, right? All of these things, there needs to be solutions to this. We can't be 16 billion people on this planet, or maybe we can. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like there's big ideas coming that we have to, solve and heal, and 20 years to do it in. Usually these Pluto movements are often start off with a bang and end with a bang. We're at the end of another. And just one more thing about the Pluto transit. It's going to be, I forget the exact date, but it's like June 20th or something, like summer solstice, basically, is when Pluto is at 0 degrees Aquarius, and it goes back to 29 Capricorn. Everybody's really worried about that because it is shocking and striking when a planet is hovering back and forth over a critical degree, right? And that's what it's happening. Sometimes I have critical degrees in my chart. You might too. When you have a critical degree, it's critical. There's a shimmering and an energy about it. So when right now, as it's moving over back to 29 Capricorn, to 0 Aquarius, to 29, and it does it 4 or 5 times before finally in 2024 it goes forward and stays there in Aquarius. So this year is going to be dramatic, is what I want to say, as it's already been. Like, how much more drama do we need? There's been so much drama, right? These last 2 years, this 5-year cycle that we're in, we're right at the apex of the midpoint. And of course, 0 Aquarius, that's where it's sitting, that figures, right? And we get to work with these energies and help what's trying to happen in our world happen. I wanted to just talk another thing about Pluto, which is just interesting. I love patterns. I have always done, since I was a child, I was good at recognizing patterns. And it's probably because I learned astrology so young. I was taught to think in archetypes and see things in patterns. And astrology and the stars and astronomy are all patterns, right, of stars that make shapes, right? So one of the patterns of Pluto is it's a planet that is for the group, right? It's not a personal planet. It's for all of us planet. And so with when you look at Pluto, the outer planets, Pluto and Neptune, you see generational things, right? So I didn't give this a lot of thought, but you can think about it. If you think of the 60s, 1960s, 1965, all that, during that, when the Beatles came and rock and roll, and Elvis even began on that. That was Pluto and Leo. The whole hippie generation was Leo, right? And so you can kind of feel the freedom, and you think of sort of the anthem of that time. One of them might have been the play Hair, right? It was about, let my hair fly, and the man and the power, and, no repression. I get to be me, right? That was Leo. Then it went to Virgo. And these transitions are really pretty radical. So I was thinking, okay, what happened? And so in the 60s, it was all kinds of music was coming out, just a plethora of different kinds of music. And you can look at the music to see what a generation is like. And remember, you're talking about a generation that if it was born in Leo, it takes like 15, 20 years before they're producing music and putting it out there, right? So it's interesting to see, what does this generation produce? So the next one was Virgo. And I thought, some examples would be like Yes, the band Yes, right? This very beautiful, perfect music. It was super complicated, like ELO, and where the music got so sophisticated and so well done. Where the '60s was a little bit more, by the seat of its pants, and there was just, stereo. It was simpler and a little more wilder. And then it went to Virgo, and it got really precise. And you can think of a million bands, right, musically, and if you look at the art, it's going to follow. Everything's going to follow in that same way, right? You could just look at art and see the cycles in it. And then after Virgo was Libra, and I think of Madonna, and I think of Prince, and I think of Michael Jackson, and this kind of pretty music. Even David Bowie could kind of slip into there, like pretty. It's pretty people, pretty music. And then I was thinking, and it went to Scorpio, and you think grunge, like Nirvana, like stuff like that was happening. So that was when Pluto was in Scorpio, and then Sag, and then Capricorn. I would think, and I hadn't thought this all the way through, but I'm thinking of, Kanye West and Eminem for Capricorn, rap. And anyway, so now we're in Aquarius, so it's a whole new generation that won't be producing music for 15 years. So we'll see what Aquarian music will sound like, right? So it's something to just think about. And it's also, of course, I'm just using music as a way of patternizing, but you could look at clothes. You could look at, the way people dress is such a good way, how people do their hair, how, what movies are being made. You could look and see that there's a theme in every generation. And here we come into the beginning, 0 degrees of Aquarius, as we come in to the age of Aquarius, so this becomes a harbinger to be able to kind of tell in these next 20 years or so what we're making and what's coming into the form now. So it's a lot to think about and work with, and thinking in Pluto, wherever it is in your chart, it's where I think of it as the challenge point, the stress test, the place in your life where you can be like the phoenix that is reborn, but it sort of fails first, and then it learns, though, right? You can think of it like that. When it's in Aquarius, it's about the people. It's about humanity and civil rights and things like that are human rights, let's call it, human rights. And we're having a big argument in the country and in the world about rights and who runs the world, and all of these things they're very up. And an Aquarian sort of perspective would be consensus, right? Group endeavor together. We decide together. It isn't just one leader only. It's many leaders together, or the round table, King Arthur's Knights table, right? Where there's the 12, and those kinds of concepts are very Aquarian. So that's in the air, and it's pretty big in the air right now. And we're working with that, and it's just the beginning as it moves in, and then it moves back out again, and then in 2024 it's full on. But this year it's going to go back and forth over that 1 degree, 29.0, 29.0, back and forth like a teeter-totter. And on that teeter-totter, right, it gets a lot of tension on that point. And so if you have 29 degrees Capricorn in your chart, oof, what's that going to look like? And it's interesting to see, because people do, of course, have that exact degree in their chart somewhere, and some people have a planet there, or their sun is there, or their moon is there, right? So it's just interesting to think of. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is, within all of this, I was calling this as a joke to myself, a touchy moon. That of hypersensitivity, possibly oversensitivity, overreaction. Libra, it's all about balance, says communicate. In the chart, I'll show it one more time just to show you one thing about it, that the mini trine, Mars, Saturn, Mercury, here's the outlet for this mini trine. And so what that means is the way out of the tension that's happening right now is to talk about things. Talk about them. Don't keep them to yourself. This is a time to relate and hear people out and let people speak and let yourself speak and say what you mean in compassion, in kindness, for the greater good, right? You're not just venting or dumping, which is unconscious speaking. It's conscious speaking, where you're really trying to improve something, to make it better. So if it's a relationship, right, to improve the relationship, I've thought about this, I want to talk to you about this. This is something that's important to me. I feel like this could improve our relationship, and here's how and here's why. The energy right now is very conducive to that. Chiron sitting with the sun, with Jupiter. There's a healing going on the planet. There's healings going on in people's lives. What is up for healing for you? What would you like to heal? And so it's not a time to kind of hold hard and separate. It's a time to try to communicate about it. So the other name I had for it after I got that one out of my system, the touchy moon, this is better, finesse and sensitivity moon. Right? To be tactful, to be thoughtful in your words, to speak from a conscious place, to really allow yourself to think about what you want to say and then say it slowly, take your time, and including, you have to always remember your own self-talk, right? How you speak with yourself. How do you speak with yourself? It's interesting, if you could put somehow a recorder on that could record what we think, it would be horrifying, most of the time, full of negativity, full of fears, full of self-attack, right? Full of guilt. It's not just going, I'm a beautiful child of God. That's not our inner dialogue usually. Now, enlightenment is, I am one with everything and everything is one with me, right? And it's all perfect, just like it is, right? But that's a big teaching, and as much as we can understand something like that and go, I understand that, living that, doing that, being that, is a whole different thing than understanding something intellectually or mentally understanding. It's that being able to digest it, to be able to, we call it letting the penny drop, when it becomes part of you, that there's this resource in you that can recover, right? That can stop. That's when meditation, right? The sit, stay, to teach your mind, shh, because it's just a thinking, generating machine that's just going thought to infinity, never stopping, always going, has 1,000 opinions about everything, right? So it's just throwing out thoughts, like a river, and you can believe in them. And then they become, right, the golden calf. We believe our thoughts, and they're just one of a billion other thoughts that we also think simultaneously. So consciousness is recognizing truth, knowings versus thinkings. You start to pay attention to things that make you take a breath. That's true, right? You get that bodily pendulum response of, I know that, right? Versus, I think that. And so a lot of people like espouse a lot of things, right? They say a lot of, people out of this and people out of not that, and, and it's sort of none of our business, really, because what someone else is doing, it's really our business to mind ourselves and then let that radiation of that consciousness move out past ourselves. But our work is with ourselves, and it's not in judgment. First, main kind of only rule in spirituality is don't judge, right? Well, that includes you. Don't judge. Doesn't mean don't see, doesn't mean don't change, grow, or try. It's just judgment is different than, this is the distinction I make, is the difference between judgment and perception. So perception sees the same thing as judgment does. It's looking at the same data, right? But it's coming to really different conclusions. Because judgment needs something to be right or wrong. I agree, I don't agree. Where perception just says, this is. This is. This person's like that. I take them where they are, or I don't be with them, right? Or but mainly, I just take things like they are, the way things roll out, the way life rolls out, the opportunities that come and go, right? You sort of are moving in the flow of your soul's energy. And so we become soul guided versus ego guided. That's the work, right? But first you have to learn, feel. To me, it's such a physical feeling when my ego is activated versus my soul. It feels radically different to me when I am being guided, soul guided. And there's not a lot of thought in that. It's just this, myself begins to move in a direction, and I trust myself. But it's not my ideas that I'm trusting so much, right? Or my thinking, right? It's just, those are just thoughts. You start to be able to listen to this other note that is like an om, that is a universal sound that you're teaching yourself to pick out, right? Like to be able to see ultraviolet, right? I want to learn more about this, but I've read some articles about it, that there was a time not that long ago when Ulysses was written, so whenever that was, that blue was not a color yet. It wasn't named. Obviously blue was, but it hadn't been called out, seen, or named blue. So if the ocean is blue, we'd say the ocean, but we wouldn't say the blue, blue ocean, because that word, we weren't there yet to be able to perceive blue. We could see red, we could see orange, we could see yellow, right? Like dogs, right? So it's a more subtler and subtler ability to be able to perceive sound or color or light or tone or vibration, right? So when blue dye happened, right, that was a big deal, and it was expensive, right? You had to get it from wherever it came from and ship it to where you were, and it was a really big deal to have blue dye. And all of a sudden, blue was a color, and it started being said in the books. You hear the word blue in all the different languages, because it just wasn't in our radar, in our range of perception at that time. So again, we are raising our vibration all the time. And as we raise our vibration all the time, we're able to see more and more. We can see more and more, right? So it's and we can hear more and more, and we can sense more and more. And that's what happens when you meditate. You start to build this incredible muscle that allows you to perceive, and people do, and become psychic, become extrasensory perceptive, right? They be able to pick up different things, read between the lines, all those subtler aspects of, in a way, what psychic phenomena is, just higher vibration. Things that are writing at a higher vibration. So I don't need somebody to yell at me to know they're mad. Right? Like, I know the minute I see them, they could be smiling and I can know, right? So it's right, or that whatever I'm noticing, it improves our sensitivities, and then it gives you more choices of how you want to respond. Otherwise, the world gets super black and white. Things are this or that, and that's that, which is kind of how the world often is, right? It's this or that. You're for them or you're against them, right? You gotta go this way or that way, and those are only two choices, which is so not true. And so simple and lovely in a way in that sense, but it actually isn't what will happen, right? And so it becomes this battle, right, for right and wrong and good and evil and all of that. But the middle way is the way, and you keep finding the middle way by learning to find that middle way inside yourself. So when we meditate, we're practicing, we're exercising that ability to tune in to a higher vibration, to tune in to something that's much more subtle, a higher note that we almost have to really, like a dog can hear, that we can't hear, right? But you could tune your ears. If you lived in the forest, or you live without light or electricity or the hum of a refrigerator in the background, you would find that you would hear and see color brighter. If you became blind or you could not see, your hearing would improve. It is the nature of the brain to compensate and learn and use the apparatus that it is to be able to make up for and strengthen. Well, we don't have to be blind to see more. We don't have to be deaf to hear better, right? You can actually improve it in your own consciousness right now. So we are playing with energy, learning about energy, using energy, learning about it so that you can recognize it. When you are around people, you can feel high vibration, low vibration. Now, judgment says good, bad. Perception says isness. It's not measuring, it just is. And so, yes, things can have very low vibration energy. We can be low vibration in our thinking in ourselves. But the ability to be able to even recognize high energy from lower energies is the difference between watching horror movies all the time, right? Or listening to Bach. And you can tell without me saying anything about it that obviously, right? There's different energy. Now, could a horror movie be high energy? Yes, actually, right? I'm trying to think of one right now, but I can't get one offhand. But yes, of course, it could be a teaching, right? In its own right, a teaching of something that would bring people to a higher awareness using that genre, right, to do it with. So it's not horror is bad or anything is bad. It's all what you do with it. Just like yourself in your life, it's all what you do with it, with your life, with your mind, with your voice, with your thoughts, with your art, right, with your heart, that you start to use yourself better. So one more thing I want to add about Pluto. No, I just want to say this because it's so powerful what's happening right now. The last time that Pluto was at 0 degrees Aquarius, the last time, because Pluto has a 248-year orbit. The sun has 1 year, right? Pluto has 248-year orbit. The last time it was at 0 degrees Aquarius was in 1775. Well, in 1776, right? comes this. Let me see if I can find my note. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's a 0 degrees Aquarius statement, if there ever was one, right? And our whole country is built on it. And then 10 years later, while of course it's still in Aquarius, comes the Declaration of Independence. The Constitution, sorry, 1787, I think, is the Constitution, all in that Aquarian time. So here we are again. What's our new, improved, right, Declaration of Independence? It does say that all men are created equal, right? Well, one of them is that we are all created equal, right? And more and more. And all of this generation that's born now is going to be working out as when they move into their adulthood. And that's what we're working out now as we are in ours. So there's big wheels turning. And they've been doing this for such a long time, and we're all a little bit fatigued, I think, But it's you've got to just stay up, It doesn't matter if you're on the track that takes 5 years, and you're moving from, like in the old days, nomadically, you go from one place to another place. It might take you 5 years to get there and cross the mountains and get through the valley and get to the place where the other place that you can live is safe to live in. You endure. And you have perseverance, and you hold on, and you keep holding the lantern. And even if people are falling away, you still take another step forward towards that greater good, right? That better place, or that higher consciousness. And that's why when you meditate, this will really help you kind of keep your spirits up while things are happening that are kind of dramatic. War in many places right now. Many places are, sparky, really, and full-on war. In our own country, it's definitely, it's interesting, to watch what's happening. How are these things going to land? And you can fear that and go, oh, I hope this doesn't happen, and I hope that doesn't happen. It's much more helpful to keep seeing the well-being of all of these places, that this all gets worked out, and it really will. It just might be a bumpy ride along the way, but it really will. And as conscious people are attending in intention, attending with intention towards these balls of stress that are around the planet right now, as that consciousness touches it, solutions begin to happen. They're not instant, because there's just so many factors for change to really happen. But as you're perceiving it, you're actually helping heal our forests, our oceans, our global warming, our government, all of these subjects, our relationships, right? It isn't only just that, but our everything is touched by your consciousness. So fearful consciousness breeds more fear, right? Love breeds more love. And so that ability to stand in the face of fear as you come upon it, wherever it is, in traffic, at the grocery store, or with friends and family that are polarized right now, keeping your balance, Libra, keeping your balance, not going into reaction, not going into judgment, but perception and compassion, because compassion is the conditioner, right? That's the heart energy. Compassion becomes not feeling sorry or pity or any of that, but compassion that just goes, I see how you got there. You don't have to agree, but you can understand. And in that understanding, peace can happen. Harmony can happen. And when two or more are gathered, big things can happen on this planet. And we're here at the time of Passover and Easter, which are all moon-driven events. Both of them have to do with the full moon. The Easter is the first full moon after the vernal equinox. The first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox. And Passover is on the full moon, the first full moon after, which is now, which is Passover, right? It's now because of the full moon. So here are all these traditions that are tied to the moon that's why Easter and Passover are changing every year, what day they fall on. It's not December 25th, Christmas, which has got an identified date, right? But Passover and Easter are moving, and so are many other holidays like that, of these old ones, right? Identified to the moon, timed with the moon cycle. So lots of opportunity right now to heal things, and very important to strengthen yourself and be strong and brave and heart and face and see, be a witness, right? To stand into all of this, not hiding from it, but standing wherever you happen to be on the planet, right? And being the lighthouse that you are, without taking the judgment piece out, and just perceive. And if you can help, help. And if you can't help, that's okay too. We can only help what is available to be wanting of help. You can't push help on somebody. They will absolutely repel it. If you say, I think you need help, right? It's judgment. That's judgment. I think you need help. But if I can help, and as I'm asked, I am ready to help, right? And we are, but not because we're superior. It's not about that. It is just about perception. So it's an important time. It's an important time to stay conscious, and then that phrase, right? Beliefs and expectations. Right? What are your beliefs and expectations? We're changing our beliefs and we're growing our beliefs, right? And to drop the expectation, as the Dalai Lama says, happiness is acceptance. Happiness is acceptance. So the opposite of that is expectation, right? So let's use these words and thoughts and colors of our watercolor that I'm making with you, that I'm feeling from you, and you're offering into this space, and I'm sensing, and we're having this relationship, you know? We'll use this as our starting point for our meditation. So when you're ready to, just get yourself situated how you like to be. Nice. And just feel yourself present now. I am present. Feel this amazing connection between people on a screen. People in a group that you might know that are there. You see them or you don't see them, or you just see me, but they're there. That are meditating around the world also, everywhere, all points of light, all around the world, all this consciousness based on the clock of the moon that many, many are aware of. And we're all holding for the highest good. We're all holding for this. And so that image that was up before we started, if some of you were here a little bit earlier, is that the ballerina standing on a rope, balancing the moon and the sun in her hands. On one hand, she has the moon, on one hand, she has the sun in space. I think that's a great image to use as you start to move into the meditation now, breath by breath. Starting to quieten the body and letting the heart and mind follow, and you start to feel the hum of the universe, which is like a choir of every note that can ever be, of angels, or every color of every light that can be known, which is more than we see, more than we see. And you start to enter the vast space of the universe, and particularly that space of love. And so using the word love, Libra is ruled by Venus, love. And you start to pulse that sound in every language, in a way, you know, in every language known and unknown, in dead languages and languages to come that aren't known yet. Love, love, love. And you start to feel the pulse of love and light now in this meditation, as you feel that balancing act of Libra, balancing play and work, balancing self-care and others, balancing giving and receiving, right? All these pairs of opposites, balancing the energies between them, and imagining yourself in perfect harmony with all that is. In perfect harmony. I am in perfect harmony with this moment. Om. I am in perfect harmony within myself. Om. I am in perfect harmony with my soul. Om. Sensing that. Making it real, so that it's more than just thoughts. It's the colors laying down one over another. It's the vibrations, the sound. More and more depth, more and more breadth, more and more height, space. And inside that space, breathing gently. Feeling today, I'm in harmony with everything. I am in harmony with everything. I'm in harmony with everyone. I am in harmony with everything. I'm in harmony with everyone. I'm in harmony with myself. I am in harmony with my soul. I am in harmony with the universe. I'm in harmony with everything. That's the mantra. I'm in harmony with everything. Om. I am in harmony with everything. Om. I am in harmony with everything. Om. What I see, what I don't see, I'm in harmony with everything. I'm in harmony with this planet. I am in harmony with my world. I am in harmony with my life. I am in harmony with my mind. I am in harmony with my heart. I am in harmony with my relationships. I am in harmony with my work. I am in harmony with my creativity. I am in harmony with my body. I am in harmony with everything. I am in harmony with everything. Doesn't matter the outer circumstances. I am in harmony with everything. I am in harmony with time. I am in harmony with the past. I am in harmony with the future. I am in harmony with this moment, in this moment. Know this, feel this, sense this, be this, harmony. I am in harmony with everything. No exception. I am in harmony with everything. Right, good. And now, in that state that we just made, that you just made, inside yourself, this is a reference point now. Unforgettable, undeniable, a vibrational state. I am in harmony. Om. And it is so. Om. Thoughts, 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 thoughts. I am in harmony. Om. And in that state vibration, begin to breathe it through the body self, the body being, breathing this harmony through your body being, becoming one with it. One with harmony, inner, outer, and from that inner, outer harmony, feel this radiance now that expresses from that place, that vibrational state, and let it, that harmony, harmonize out into your home, into your space, into your body, into your world, into your life, into your work, into your friendships and partnerships, and every way, where, and how that you interact in the world. You take this harmony and you see it moving in every direction until it starts to go even beyond your life to the world. And almost like when you do Reiki, you know, how you can feel when somebody needs it, like it pulls. You can feel that Reiki, that love, that light being pulled to places that you know about, countries, cities, people. And just let that harmony go to where it's needed. This state of harmony. While breathing it through your own system until it feels natural and part of you. Good. And when you're ready to. Letting your breath get deeper, full of this vibration, full of this sound, full of this color, full of this light. Let your breath become deeper and fuller until it starts to feel natural to begin to transition out of this meditation when you're ready to. Good. Thank you, everybody. Good work. A lot of stuff going on in everybody's life. You know, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Take care of you, too. Don't forget you. There's a lot of need out there right now. Love, meeting it with love and understanding. So let's see, the next full moon is May 5 de Mayo, May 5th. I'll be doing it live at the Mount again on the 4th. So Thursday, that'll be May 4th, and then I'll be doing mine on May 5th, because I'm there almost the whole day to get that one together. So we'll be meeting here in Zoom May 5th. If you'd like to join, you're welcome. That's a Friday. And my next meditation class is April 19th, Wednesday, April 19th. So you'll get emails on that if you're on my emailing list. So thank you for being part of this, everybody. It's so good. It's so powerful. I'm so happy you're here. It's so nice to be with kindred souls, which we are. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone.